Let's see if we'll get any of these to bite. Very cold today, and a high of, am I snagged on something there? A high of only 41. We actually had a tornado watch last night and it was scary. Fish. Fish on the first cast. Fish on the first cast on the black BG1 with the black larva Z. I think this will be my new, what should I say, benchmark. Black BG1 with black larva Z should be my new benchmark. Second bite. Okay now. So okay, I think we're gonna make a video out of this. I didn't know if there will be a video, folks, but I think there will be a video, and I'll tell you the purpose of today's video. Today, folks, I'm testing the bearings that I put inside the line roller of the LEGALIS. The line roller of the LEGALIS actually uses tube bearings or tube bushings, however you want to say it. And I'm gonna start the video right away. There is a snag there, maybe that's why there is some fish. I will start the video right away by saying that there is absolutely nothing wrong with the stock plastic bushings of the LEGALIS. Okay, let me repeat that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the stock bushings of the LEGALIS. I fished the reel enough to tell you that out of the box, even though it has not one but two plastic bushings inside the line roller is pretty smooth. I never felt any issues with the line roller. The only reason I'm doing this, and I have done it to all of my cheap reels, every Sahara that I have, the new and the old, all of my LEGALIS, all of my old LEGALIS reels, they all have bearings in the line roller, because I don't know how to describe it. I have a YouTube channel. My incentives are a little bit different. I need to be testing things. I need to know firsthand if things make a difference. I need to form my own opinions. I can't have people tell me they changed something and the difference was night and day or that kind of stuff. There's very few people who you can rely on to give you reliable information. Oh! All right. We have to get a few fish, folks, to test these bearings before I put them in the shop. Now, I already kind of cast it enough times, didn't catch enough fish, but cast it enough times to kind of know they're okay. But it's good to feel them under load. It is different under load, and here is some load. Yeah, the bearings are just fine. I don't know where I ended the video before. Oh, that's a nice bijik. But you know, it's kind of hard to me I want to explain something, but I also don't want to. It is very difficult to find good bearings. Perhaps the most difficult bearings to find is the line roller. me tell you a few things. The line roller is a high-speed application. The line roller spins very fast. Imagine you cast 30 feet, you don't catch a fish, and you recast. You have to reel 30 feet in just a few seconds. Okay? Listen to this when I'm reeling. You need to reel 30 feet in just a few seconds. But what is the diameter of the line roller? Imagine how many hundreds of times the line roller has to spin just so you can get 30 feet of line. And imagine doing this all the time. So this is a high-speed application. But the traditional high-speed application bearings don't work on the line roller. Don't work. You can try any kind of ceramic or hybrid ceramic, or all of these high-speed bearings are too noisy. They're too loud. If you put any kind of ceramic bearing here, when you're reeling like this, it will sound like, you know, when you cast with a bait caster. When you cast with a bait caster that has hybrid ceramic bearings, that's how it's gonna sound when you're reeling. It will be very loud. It's not really that bad of a noise, even, to tell you the truth, especially if you know the reason for the noise, that it's not a defect. But people with spinning reels are not used to noise coming out of the line roller, so I don't think that will be accepted very well. So you can't use high-speed bearing here. And the other reason why finding good bearings for the line roller is so difficult is they're always some super weird size. These bearings here, in the LEGALIS, and to make it more difficult, I will put two of them instead of just one. Would be cheaper with one, but from performance perspective, with two is probably better. But anyway, I don't want to go there. But the thickness, I'll let you hear it. The thickness of these bearings, this pair of bearings, is 1.8 millimeter. You are not gonna find a 1.8 millimeter bearing anywhere in the world. You're just not gonna find. So you have to find something that kind of works, unless you have a lot of money. If one day my YouTube channel and my shop grows, and I know that if I buy 1,000 bearings, I will sell them, then you can find a factory to make your own bearing. If you buy enough pieces, they will make your own bearing. They will make you 1.8 millimeter bearing. But right now, if I buy 50 bearings, who knows, it will take me 1 year to sell them. So I'm really limited by what I can do right now. There's not much choice in this particular miniature size bearing. And then you don't want it to be noisy. You start to get the picture. This is a difficult application. Anything else, there is no other bearing in this entire reel that is difficult to replace. Not only it's not difficult, but you have plenty of options. If you want high resistance, low resistance, if you want it sealed, if you want it greased, whatever you want. So many options. All of the other bearings, like for the knob. So many bearings for the knob, for the main gear. Lots of options. This one is very tricky to find anything at all. And then you don't want it to be loud, like this truck over there. Folks, we may have to do this the difficult way. There is fish around here, but they're scattered and deep. That is the problem. They're scattered and they're deep. I mean deep. But okay, that's not a good cast either. Let's give it a shot. Fish, nice, very deep. Okay, we're gonna work them deep then. And a crappie, okay. Okay. All right. See if we can get a few more. Got a bite right here. Come on, let's catch one right here for the folks at home to see you. Or maybe that's a bite. It's leaning bite right here. It started to lean sideways. The only float that will show you this bite. Okay. Okay. Another thing, folks. Let me straighten up the boat here. Folks, I am so fed up trying to get this float close to the fish, 12 feet deep. By the time it sinks, all of the fish moved. I'm gonna do something drastic here. I'm gonna just snip it out of here, get rid of the float. I'm just gonna put a jig and fish the way I know on the bottom, and I'm gonna fish right now for you with a 7'6" Presso RAGS. I'm gonna jig on the bottom. This is pretty much the worst rod you can use for jigging, 7'6" Presso. But we're gonna do it, and we're gonna catch some fish, I promise you. Give me just a few minutes. I'm gonna snip the whole thing out of here. Alright folks, check this out. We have maybe 10-15 minutes of battery time. But I tied 1.5 gram tungsten. I had a few of those from a prior session. No leader, no nothing. Directly to the 4-pound nylon. I am so fed up. I'm not gonna feel very much, but you don't need to feel very much. They will just eat it, and you will eventually feel them. When you keep pulling, you're gonna eventually feel them. I mean, it was not very easy to feel with the 6'6" Sensi-Lite that I tested. This is 7'6", and it's more wobbly. Talk about sensitivity. The line is much thinner though. Huh. Extremely interesting. Extremely interesting now. Let's see what's gonna happen now. That is extremely interesting. Perhaps because the line is thinner, folks, I actually have a little bit of feel with the jig. Even though this is 1.5 gram jig, the other jig with which I made the video for the Sensi-Lite, right around the same place, the other jig was 2 gram, and the rod was 1 foot shorter, and I still had trouble feeling my jig. But I can kind of feel the jig, to tell you the truth. It's not ester wine, but I can kind of feel it. I am actually feeling my jig. This is amazing. I am actually, folks, feeling my jig, and I felt a bite. This is absolutely shocking to me, but I will tell you right away, the 7'6" Presso with 4-pound line and 1.5 gram jig. Okay, get all of the parameters here. The 7'6" Presso with 4-pound line and 1.5 gram jig is more sensitive than the 6'6" Sensi-Lite 6'6" Sensilite with 5-pound line and 2-gram jig. Now all of the variables are different, so it's hard to make head or toe from this. I'm just telling you, there's another bite. I didn't plan to do this. All I wanted to do is catch a few fish to make sure the bearings are fine under load as well, because I can already at home tell that the bearings are smooth and quiet, but you know, gotta do the diligence test and check them under load. And the bearings are fine under load. Let me tell you, these bearings are not expensive, but they actually feel very nice. Now, one thing I'm gonna tell you, for those of you, I know there is a lot of people like me who don't have YouTube channels, but they still like to experiment. And I will repeat a third time, the stock LEGALIS does not need bearings in the line roller. The stock bushings are just fine. I never felt once that the line roller is tight. This is just if you want to experiment and test stuff. Fish. Folks, I have to end this video here because I'm recording in windy conditions without external microphone, but I did catch enough fish. So here is the deal, folks. Oh my gosh, very windy. Black nose, wow, extremely windy. I don't know how I can record the outro. Folks, let me finish the video here because the wind started blowing like crazy, and without external microphone you can't hear a word of what I was trying to say on the lake. But basically the bearings are already, I put them on my shop. When you buy these bearings, you're gonna get one set of two, and I will send the bearings oiled. Oil will prolong the life of these bearings. These bearings are actually, I haven't had like 6 months of test to test them, but the company who sold them to me is telling me that they are some kind of a chrome steel that does not rust. But looking at them, look how open they are. Are they really not gonna rust? I don't know. It looks like the kind of bearings that will need maintenance from time to time. And I will send them oiled to you to make sure they're silent and smooth for as long as possible. Hey, one thing to do, when you replace them, do not, I repeat, do not dispose of the plastic bushings. Just put them in the same baggie that I give you, even with the oil. Put the plastic bushings in the baggie and put the baggie in the box of the reel. Let them stay there. You can use these bearings for 1 year, maybe 2, who knows. One day you can always put the plastic bushings back. What else? If you are playing with bearings, I recommend these 2 little things. Everybody has them, some version of them. The most important thing though that I do not have in my shop, but you will need for installation of these bearings, you need one of these T9 screwdrivers. This is what it looks like. I don't have these screwdrivers, but I will leave a link in the description below just so you can see what it is, and feel free to buy it somewhere else cheap. Otherwise, replacement of the bearings itself is completely straightforward. Just make sure you don't lose any washers. If you have ever done this, you just unscrew, you pull the line roller, you get this guy, you pull them out of the line roller, put the new bearings, put it back and screw it back on. I can replace these bearings now that I have done it a few times. I can open, swap and screw it back on in 1 minute. So from one hand, it's very fast to do, but from the other hand, you need the screwdriver and you gotta take your time the very first time to make sure that you don't lose any washers. And for the fourth time in this video, I will repeat, there is nothing wrong with the plastic bushings. I find them to be very smooth. Do this. This is only for the guys who want to always experiment. There is a bunch of them in my channel and I will provide the bearings. I myself always use these bearings, but I don't want anybody to feel bad that out of the box, the plastic bushings on the Legalis feel bad. They do not. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.